Hey, what up, good peoples? Welcome to Relationship Thursday. I am here with you on Friday Eve. Friday Eve to make it do what it do. I'm hoping that y'all are having a blessed day so far. Some of y'all might be kicking back, getting ready to watch some football. And if so, it is all good. Do me a favor, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from. If you're watching on IG, Facebook, or YouTube, I want to be able to shout you out. So drop a comment in the chat again. Let me know where you're watching from. Today's topic, y'all, is going to be good. It's going to be a good topic. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to lean into it. And, real talk, hopefully you'll get some insights, which I think you would if you're really paying attention. You'll get some insights that will help you to, better understand how to move in your relationship. I'm seeing I got some questions already in the chat. This is the right room. This is the right room. I'm talking to the Blamley right now. This is the right room for the live stream. If you want to be on screen, Blamley, you can make sure you make sure your camera is on. You want to make sure your camera is on, and I'll bring you forward onto the screen. But tonight's topic, y'all. Tonight's topic is going to be five things that you do that could be sabotaging your relationship. 5 secrets, y'all. 5 secrets that you could be holding that are sabotaging your relationship, and it's going to be the top secrets. So it's going to be a good session, and I'm glad that y'all decided to show up and to engage. And so for those who don't know, my name is Ayize, co-founder of Black Love and Marriage, this page that you're on right now. I do this work with my wife, Iana. We're both trained therapists and relationship coaches. This is what we do. We do this all day, every day, helping individuals and couples in their relationship. And not only do we help couples in their relationship, but we got a real relationship too, y'all. We've been together for 30 plus years, married for 23, and got 5 amazing children. Actually, 1 child and then 4 young adults. They getting old, y'all. They getting old. So it's a nice topic, y'all. Again, 5 of the top secrets that could be sabotaging your relationship. And this is important because in the work that we do, we see couples all the time that are struggling when it comes to communication, when it comes to conflict management, when it comes to connection. And so a lot of times it be revolving around these secrets, y'all. These secrets that folks be holding on to and having challenges with in terms of, not really wanting to express what they got going on internally because they got some fears that may possibly lead to interruptions in a relationship, a divorce, certain types of disconnect. And so, again, we're going to talk about it tonight. And if you see yourself in a space in which you're holding on to any one of these 5 secrets, we always say transparency is the best policy. Transparency is the best policy. Now, I know some people don't agree with that. Some people actually have a hard time with that piece. And if that's you, then bruh, sis, you could be setting yourself up for something disastrous because a lot of times the shit comes out in the wash. It really does. And you may be thinking that you're good and that you're gravy, but real talk, again, you're being dishonest and you're disservicing the relationship, by not living in integrity and your truth. And so, again, we're going to be talking about that tonight. So the top 5 secrets, y'all, the top 5 secrets that folks be sitting on that could possibly be sabotaging the relationship. The first one that I want to highlight, this is one that, especially during this time of year, is pretty prevalent. We're transitioning into the holiday season, and a number of folks got their eyes on the shiny thing, whether it be Black Friday or Christmas season. Like, you got your eyes on that next best thing, the big thing that you want, that bag, those shoes, that car, whatever it may be. Like, you got your eyes focused on that thing. And what happens sometimes during this season, and it may actually be happening during the course of the year, like a lot of times y'all be having like hard times with having real transparent conversations about that money, y'all, about the bag. And so one of the big secrets is one around financial infidelity. Financial infidelity. And what this looks like is you hiding the bag, it might even be debt, maintaining some type of secret credit card or bank account, and you're hiding major purchases, or maybe even might be hiding some significant losses that could be impacting the relationship. And so I see this, in the work that we do, where sometimes people don't be all the way keeping it 100. when it comes to their finances. And so what this looks like, which is really fascinating. We had a couple that we worked with, and the sister was talking about how, my husband, he a gambler. And I don't like the fact that he be gambling, but one time he won real big. And he went out there and he bought a car. He didn't tell me that he won big, but he made the decision that this is what he was going to do. He was going to purchase this car, and we had to deal with the consequences of that. Yeah, he won the money, but there's an impact to the household when he makes the decision that I'm gonna go ahead and spend this bag, when the reality is that we got needs that should be taken care of in the house. And so, there was a certain level of secrecy there that impacted the relationship. He won, and some of y'all might be like, it was his money. But what her concern is that we got needs for the house, and you're choosing to take care of you without prioritizing us, which leads to a problem. And so in that type of situation, you might say you ain't lied to me, but it could be a lie of omission. It could be a lie of omission where you're, not necessarily coming clean about the things that you're doing or what's happening. And as a result, I'm being left out. And so I got to deal with that type of situation. Some of y'all might be finding yourselves in a situation like that right now where, again, your partner, they may not be necessarily telling you a untruth, but what they're doing is not telling you all that it is. And again, it could be around the finances. So that's one area that we see during this time of year where couples sometimes have a hard time. It might even be a situation where you say such and such was only $200, but that thing was really $800. And he or she would never know, but you're not keeping it a buck in terms of like what the actual expense was. And he wouldn't know because y'all might have separate accounts. And we're not saying that it's a problem with you all having separate accounts, but what I'm saying is that you're not being all the way 100. You're not keeping it integrous in terms of what you're spending because there may be some fear that's attached to what you might say. We got to shift that, y'all. And what I'm encouraging you to do and challenging you to do is to stand in integrity. If it was 8, say it was 8. And then have that conversation after that. Don't run away from it. Have a conversation. And so again, in a situation like that, it's really important that you move with a certain sense of integrity, because what you're doing is you're modeling inside of the relationship the fact that, like, whether or not you value the truth, whether you value the truth. And what I'm saying is that, I'm a strong advocate of telling the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it's uncomfortable. Some of y'all got secrets that y'all need to be talking about. The second secret that I want to lift up is this secret around having an affair. Yes. We can't talk about secrets and not talk about infidelity. Far too many individuals and couples are reeling from the impact that an affair has had in their life and in their relationship. And it's not the man exclusively. It's not the woman exclusively. What I'm seeing in the work that we do is that both men and women are stepping out. Both men and women are being deceptive. Both men and women are lying. Both men and women are having affairs, whether it be all out physical affairs or emotional affairs, you're still having an affair. And if that's the case, what I'm saying to you is that, like, even in that instance right there, you got a responsibility, bro. You got a responsibility, sis, to move with integrity. To move with integrity. I know it may be uncomfortable. I know it may challenge you. I know there may be a certain level of resistance and apprehension in terms of what the fallout may be if you do tell the truth. But what I'm saying to you is that to keep maintaining a lie means that you're maintaining your allegiance with this other dude. It means that you're maintaining your allegiance with this other woman. And if your relationship is the priority, if your marriage and your family is the priority, stop living a lie and live in truth. Live in truth, bro. Live in truth, sis. Your man or your woman, they deserve it. Your family deserves it. It's not just a betrayal to your man or to your woman. It's a betrayal to the family. And it's a betrayal to yourself. And so keeping that secret is insidious. Keeping that secret is it's cold. It's callous. And some of y'all might not like to hear that, but again, the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. And some of y'all might say, I'm on this revenge cheating tip. You're still lying. You're still keeping secrets. You're still being deceptive. You're still being dishonest. You're still not moving with integrity. My challenge to you is to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to move with integrity. Because again, if you try to hold on to that lie, you're going to be hindering the relationship and hurting it in the long run. I've seen far too many couples, y'all. Far too many couples, far too many men and women individually go through a process where they try to hold on to the other person. And one of the things that I say in the work that I do is that I'm not going to do your work for you. I'm not going to tell your man or tell your woman what you're doing. Because what my wife and I do is we create this safe space for you to be able to come to us and share what you got going on. And we'll provide the support and the guidance to assist you in the process of achieving clarity and then encourage you to do the right thing. But that's your work. You got to lift that weight. You got to have that conversation. And you got to be truthful and be honest. But first, you got to be honest with yourself. And again, this right here, holding on to this secret is eating a number of people up inside. The folks that's going to watch this, you know who I'm talking to. It's eating you up inside, sis. And what I'm saying to you is that the truth will set you free. It'll set you free. Sometimes you might even be sitting on this and not necessarily sharing it. You find yourself, whenever certain situations come up, like you might be in a house chilling, and what you'll do is you'll take this and put it face down. It's certain behaviors. It's certain behaviors that indicate that you're moving with a certain level of secrecy. Now, putting your phone face down does not automatically mean that you're doing something. Let me be clear, because I be putting my phone face down and I ain't doing shit. All right. But if you are doing something and you doing that, putting your phone face down, then what that says is that, like, yo, you're trying to keep something hidden. You're trying to move with a certain level of secrecy. Or if you find yourself in the relationship with the other person, speaking about your feelings more with them than you do your spouse, that's you prioritizing that emotional connection. And so you tell him or her all of your business, all of your fears, all of your anxieties, all of your dreams and your wishes. And then when you come home, you got 2 words for your man. You know what I'm saying? That's out of order. And so you got this secret thing going on, and it's manifesting in the way that you're conversing with this man, or it's manifesting in the way that you're conversing with this woman. Like, I've heard so many dudes talk about, like, I can just be myself with her. I could just relax my shoulders and I could just say what it is that I want to say. I ain't got to worry about, any criticism. I ain't got to worry about her trying to deflect or place the blame back on me. So I feel free over there with her. And so I'm saying all that I want to say and being who I want to be without judgment and criticism. That sounds good. And it sounds liberating. It may even be freeing in some respect, where you can express what you want to express and do what you want to do. But that's a sign. If you find yourself in a situation where you're doing that, that's a sign, bro. That's a sign that you're moving in secrecy, where you're able to have that certain level of openness with her, but yet you're shielding yourself and you're shielding your heart from your wife. And what I'm saying to you is that you got to check that. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So that's number 2, y'all. This whole piece around the secrecy around affairs that you might be having. If that's you, I'm challenging you to do something about it. Be honest. Be honest, y'all. It becomes so damaging to your wife, to your husband, when that information lands on your doorstep. It's a number of folks that are dealing with that, where they can actually feel it on a visceral level. They no longer want to be intimate with you because of what you're doing. They no longer want to converse with you because of what you're doing. It leads them to a place where they're apoplectic. Like, they just see the ire and they feel it, when you're around them, just simply because you're being deceptive. So like, don't go down that path. My warning to you is you don't have to take that route. And if you've done it and you're trying to recover and you need some support, reach out to us. Reach out to us. You can go to blamconsult.com to get the support that you need. All right, y'all. Number three. Before I go to number three, I was just speaking about this infidelity piece, and I do want to do a plug here. In April of 2026, we got the King Me Retreat coming up, y'all. The King Me Retreat is for us as men to come together and to build, to bond, to connect, and to just be. My first retreat was this year that I did with the men, and it was banging, y'all. It was really phenomenal. The fellas, we came together. We definitely conversed, and we were kicking it. We were just being, and we had the laughs, we had the games, we had the jokes, we had the outside time, and there was a lot of growth that occurred too. So if you are interested in being with a group of brothers who are growth minded, ain't no bullshit, that are growth minded, and you really want to be a better man, a better husband, a better father, then go to kingmeretreat.com, y'all. Kingmeretreat.com to get your spot, fellas. It's limited spaces. I want to see you there in the mountains of Tennessee in April of 2026. All right, number three. The third secret that I want to lift up is the secret, which is really this one right here is one that I see more often with women, but it's the secret of unresolved past resentment. The secret of unresolved past resentment. And so you go through a process in your relationship in which, let's just say, and I said that I see this with women more, but your man has done you dirty, right? He's done you wrong. He's done you dirty. And you got some feelings about that. You got some feelings and you're carrying it with you. But peep this, like at a certain point in time, what you say is that I'm good, or it's all good, or I forgive you, all is well. You say this, right? You say this, and he believes that a shift has taken place and that all is well. That's cool if the work is really being done. But if the work ain't being done, and you're saying that, and you're trying to coach yourself and encourage yourself, I mean, that is a strategy. But what ends up happening is that because you really haven't done the work that you need to do, you're still walking around with like this low level resentment that seeps into other aspects of your life and of your relationship. You got this unresolved past resentment. And so in these instances, what you tend to do is you could be weaponizing a memory, y'all. And so even during an unrelated situation, argument, whatever it might be, it could be something related to the children, related to the laundry, dinner. It could be around anything, but something triggers the past offense. Something triggers the past offense. And what do? You refer back to the pain that you had in that initial experience. And as a result, you then weaponize that memory. Is this the way you did this with so-and-so? Is this how you was looking or acting when you connected in with so-and-so? Is this what you told her? Is this what you told him? Is this how you touched him? Is this how you touched her? And so you might be thinking that again, we were beyond this. You told me you forgave me. You told me we were good. You told me you were doing your work. But now I find myself in a situation in which this is coming back up. And again, I'm not going to rush your healing. There is a proper pacing that takes place when it comes to you healing from traumas like betrayals. And all betrayals don't revolve around infidelity too. The first one that I lifted up was around this piece around financial infidelity. So it is a form of infidelity, but it dealt with finances, not with another person. But you're recovering. You're trying to get to a place to where you're well, to where you're better. And because you're recovering and because you're having these challenges or because you experience this trigger, then what happens is that you're thrust way back into that space where you initially felt that pain. It's so common. So common. Or you can find yourself where there's a certain level of intimacy withdrawal in your relationship because what you're doing is, again, you're reflecting on what you initially felt. These triggers be real, y'all. These triggers be real. And again, you say it to your man or you say it to your woman that we're going to work through this. But because of what it is that you feel and you really haven't done your work, you're withholding affection. There ain't no touching. There ain't no kissing. There ain't no loving. It's all robotic. And you're existing in a functional relationship. And so you want to make sure you're being mindful of that, y'all. So you don't want to allow the secret of you actually holding on to past resentments because they haven't been resolved as being something that you weaponize in a relationship. That's problematic. And the interesting piece here is that some of y'all think that y'all are beyond it. That's why doing your work is so important. That's why doing your work is so important. I recently took women through a process, a 21-day intensive, and the results were great. I was definitely surprised by some of the things that I discovered in the experience. But one thing that stood out to me, y'all, is that in the book, we were reading a book, How to Love a Black Man. And in the book, there's different categories and types of women that are broken down. And so it was amazing to see or to hear the women speak about how certain women who were being described, they said, that ain't me. Like before even reading the description for that particular type of woman, they were like, that's not me. And one type of woman specifically that was identified was the basher. The basher, like so many women was like, that ain't me. I don't be doing that. And so I'm lifting this piece up because if you haven't done your work, and if you haven't gone through a process of healing, then there's a possibility that you also haven't gone through a process of revealing. In order for you to heal it, you got to reveal it. And if you deny it, then you ain't revealing it. And so there's a number of women who are unwilling to look at themselves and see themselves for who they are. And as a result, like you could be holding on to past hurts just simply because you're not facing yourself. And so don't think that this ain't you. Don't think it's not you, because there's a possibility that it is. And as a result, what you could be doing is thinking that you're further along in your growth process, but really, sis, you at step one. Really, bro, you at step one. But once you realize that you at step one, give yourself grace and then the space to do your work so that you can actually heal. It's okay. It definitely is okay. So that was number 3, y'all. That was number 3. And again, I'm sharing tonight the top 5 secrets that will sabotage your relationship. The top 5 secrets that will sabotage your relationship. The next one, y'all, ties into the last one that I lifted up, and it's the secret of major discontent. Major discontent. Bruh, there's a lot of folks who are in a relationship right now, but aren't really expressing the degree to which they are done. They are done. You know, and I've said it, my wife has said it, we have shouted this out. And fellas, this is for you. I've seen in this work that women will give you chance after chance after chance after chance after I can go on. Some of y'all still giving chances right now. But there's an expiration date on tolerance. There's an expiration date on tolerance. And so you may be thinking that the chances are unlimited, but the truth of the matter is that they're not. They're not. And what happens is this. She initially expresses the dissatisfaction, but sometimes we're not paying attention as men of when the dissatisfaction shifts and becomes sustained discontent. Now, here's the problem. It could be a secret. It could be a secret to the degree in which she's sitting with it. She's holding on to it. She's not giving you no booty. She's not touching you. She's not necessarily trying to talk to you. It just becomes a functional relationship. And then out of the blue, you get served with divorce papers. She's been holding on to the secret, not really sharing. She might even be feeling like I've said enough. I've said all that I need to say. I've shared all that I need to share. And now it's time for me to make a decision to choose me. We see it all the time. Brothers be coming to us in the 11th hour. Sisters be coming to us in the 11th hour. And sometimes it's too late. You wasn't listening, bro. You weren't listening. And so what happens, or what we see, is that discontent, yeah, she got a responsibility to speak up and to say where she is and to share, and then maybe give him a chance to fix it, or maybe give her a chance to fix it. And more often than not, those opportunities have come and then they've gone. It ain't until she's on her last leg that you might get a whiff of the possibility that she may be done, that you make a decision that you want to do something different. And it may be too late. It may be too late. But if the goal is for you to grow the relationship, if the goal is for you to sustain the relationship or repair it, then this secret of discontent, sustained discontent, it can't be a secret. If you got an exit strategy, if you planning a big escape, unless there's DV involved, you need to definitely make sure that you're strategizing and planning appropriately with the right support. But independent of that, if you're planning this big escape where you got this secret discontent that you're experiencing and you want the relationship to work, holding on to that secret ain't doing you any justice. It's not helping you. It's only hurting. Because he can't fix, work on, try to figure out, try to grow through what you're not willing to share. And so, fellas, ladies, if you're feeling some sort of way about being in this type of relationship and you want it to work, it's incumbent upon you to lift up and express like what you got going on. Where you at? And if you're getting close to a space where you're done, but you want the relationship to work, then I encourage you to speak up, sis. Speak up, bro. Like this thing could be is. You got to speak up and say it. So that's the fourth one, y'all. The secret of discontent, especially when it's sustained. Like it's man. I've worked with a number of men who have said, I've been asking you over and over and over again for you to talk to me, for you to affirm me, for you to converse with me, for you to connect, for you to make love to me, for you to big up me, for you to do the things that I need for you to do to make my toes curl. I've asked, I've pleaded, I've begged. I've humiliated myself only to be met with like the stiff arm of rejection. And it doesn't feel good to a man. And so in instances like that, he disconnects and he detaches. And so what I've also seen in those situations is that, like, the automatic reflex is to become defensive. Well, you ain't doing this. You're not doing that for me. I've been asking you for this. You haven't stepped up and measured up. And I get it. So we can go back and forth and play the game. But the question becomes, do you want to be right or do you want to be in a relationship? What do you want? If you want to be in a relationship, then you got to be willing to make the shifts. You got to be willing to make the changes. You got to be willing to adjust. And I'll say this again, it's not a man or woman thing. It's not a gender specific thing. Dudes be having issues with changing and leveling up. Women be having issues with changing and leveling up too. How do I know? Because this is the work that I do. I just took men through a 21-day King Me intensive process. Some men did the damn thing, but others struggled. Others struggled. I took women through a 21-day Queen Me intensive process. Some women did the damn thing, but others struggled. And I would actually even go as far as to say, when it came to resistance to doing the things, I got more resistance from the women. I got more resistance from the women when it came to actually doing the work. Not completing their accountability charts, not wanting to meet his needs. And a lot of times the resistance comes from a place of like, he ain't meeting my needs. And so again, it's not a gender specific thing. The resistance, the apathy, the ambivalence, it rests on both sides. And so what I'm saying to you, if you're watching this, you got a responsibility to do your work. And if you choose not to, then you will get the results of not doing the work, which is a stuck, stagnant, stank, and shitty relationship. But that's your choice. That's your choice. And so the last one, y'all, the last secret that could be sabotaging your relationship is a heavy one, and it's a big one. And it's one that I don't want us to take lightly. And if you find yourself, dealing with this, then get help, bro, or get help, sis, because it can be damaging to you individually, but also damaging to the relationship, damaging to your family. And this secret is the secret of addiction or maybe even some compulsive behaviors. If you're finding yourself dealing with addiction and you creatively find ways to be deceptive, to deny what it is that you're doing, and you got these ongoing or periodic mood swings that are definitely connected to the addiction, there's a direct impact to you personally, but to your family as well. And so what I'm saying is that if you find yourself hiding certain things, hiding time, trying to make up for time gaps, if you find yourself hiding things in your car, hiding things in your closet, if you, again, hiding things at work, trying to keep things from your man or from your woman, and you got this secret addiction or compulsive behavior, then your attachment and your allegiance is to maintaining that. You need to get help. You need to get help. Yeah, there should be a certain level of privacy in a relationship, and you should be able to have your own space. But there's a difference between your autonomy and you being riddled with addiction. You think about that thing. You manipulate your day and the people around you to get to that thing. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be porn, it could be work, it could be whatever it may be. It could be gambling, it could be any number of things. But you're manipulating your experience, your environment to satisfy a particular need. And in those situations, you need help. And if you're called on it, if it's identified and somebody lifts it up, you start to feel unsettled. You might even go into a fit of rage. And if this is you, what matters most to you? You, your family, your spouse, or your addiction? And it's not an easy thing to navigate or to move through. But if you find yourself prioritizing the secret, prioritizing the addiction, prioritizing getting the fix, getting the need met, then what you're saying is that matters more and you value that more, especially if you're doing it consistently where it interferes with your life and your engagement with your man or with your woman, then that matters more to you than they do. This is where you need to get help. Get the help that you need to break the pattern, to break the habit. You missing your kids' games, you missing family dinners. And again, you can say, I'm doing something that's noble, like I'm out here on the grind. You can have a work addiction. You could be a workaholic. And you can provide some convenient reason, rationale, or justification to say, this is what men do. Yeah, you can. But should it be to the detriment of your family? I've heard a number of wives like pleading and begging. I ain't ask you to, I didn't ask you to do that. I want you to be here with me. I don't want you to be out here in the streets running around. I want you to be home with me. And what I've seen is that sometimes men be having a hard time. And a lot of it is based off of the value, the esteem, how they identify themselves based off of the work that they do. Yeah, I get it. But this is where we have to be more intentional about who we align ourselves with and what we align our identity to. And so if you think that your worth or your value is based off of what you do and not who you are, then number one, you'll always be chasing. But if you realize that like it's my worth and my value is in who I am as a child of God, then I'm always good. I'm always good. And so we have to do the work intentionally to shift how we see ourselves and shift how we identify who we are and whose we are. If you ain't doing that, then again, you're gonna be finding yourself in that trap, engaging in secretive behavior that ends up, putting you in a place where you're bumping up against yourself and bumping up against your partner. That's a problem, fam. That's a problem. All right, y'all, we're going to put a pin in it right there. I want to see if anybody on the Blamley wants to come forward and speak on any of the pieces that I lifted up. I'll bring you on stage and I'll bring you forward. You'll be on camera and you get a chance to share just what some of your thoughts are, some of your thoughts based off of what I lifted up. The floor is open if anybody wants to share. We streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. And so if you want to come forward and share your thoughts about the 5 things that I lifted up, let me go ahead and run them back down one more time. So the first one that I lifted up was the secret of financial infidelity. Hiding what you're doing with that bag. Not being completely honest and integrous about like the money that you're spending. Minimizing the amounts that you spend. Saying that you spent $1 when you really spent $300. That's an example right there. Or having separate bank accounts that your man or woman don't know about, and moving money in certain places and just not being integrous and honest, or operating from that angle in your relationship when it comes to money. The second one that I lifted up was affairs. You cheating on your man or cheating on your woman. Some people think that emotional infidelity ain't infidelity, and I'm here to tell you that it is. You're still cheating. You're still being dishonest. You're still being deceptive. You're still prioritizing a connection with somebody else over top of your man or your woman. This right here is one of the pieces that can, if you're not careful, you'll get caught. You'll step into a trap. If you're finding yourself, just hiding numbers, hiding names, flipping your phone over whenever you're around your man or whenever you're around your woman, taking your phone to the bathroom to do some stuff, like, again, you're moving in secrecy. This secrecy can sabotage your relationship. And here's the trick. You get a dopamine hit when you're dealing with this right here. And so in some respects, just the act in and of itself of being constantly attached to this, you having an affair with your phone, that could be a problem in and of itself. You're getting constant stimulation, a constant dopamine hit, constant affirmation, the likes, the loves, the hearts, whatever it may be. The constant stimulation is leading you to a place to where you don't know how to just be. We got to check that, fam. So number 2, again, was an emotional affair. Watch out for these folks that slide into your DM. Don't be sliding into nobody's DM, especially if you're married, unless it's your spouse's. The third thing was the secret of unresolved past resentment. Saying that I'm good, saying that I'm healed, saying that we're well, saying that we're moving beyond this, saying that I've done my work, but you really haven't. You're stuck. You're stuck, and you want to be better. You want to be in a different place, but what happens is that them triggers be triggering. And so you weaponize the memories of what have occurred based off of the fact that you're triggered left and right. Driving down the street, going to work, and you hear a song that come on. You see a car that passed by, it reminds you of the vehicle that you saw him in when he was with old girl. It's you got these triggers, these smells. A certain perfume, a certain cologne that some other dude might be wearing. You smell it, bruh. And it reminds you of something scent that you smelled on your wife. Triggers. And so you thought you was behind it. You thought you was over it and it was behind you. But it thrusts you into a space where you get angry. You get into a rage. And so what I'm saying to you is that, like, again, you got to do your work. Do your work. Do your work. And when these memories come up, the challenge is to not weaponize them, but to be present and be honest with where you are. And so the secret again is the unresolved past resentment, not really being honest about where you really are, which ties into the fourth one, which is, the secret of major discontent. The secret of major discontent. Like you got your man or your woman believing that you're down here, but really you're up here. There's an incongruence in understanding about where you are. You're not being honest about the level of festivity and anger and vitriol that you actually feel. You got him thinking one thing or her thinking one thing, but you really somewhere else. You think that he in, but you really know that you done. So you holding on to the secret until it's time to serve. And what I say in reference to that is you got the right, and it's your prerogative. But if you want the relationship to work, that's not the way to move. If you're really at a place where you're in major discontent and you're not wanting to end the relationship, but you want to make it work, you got to share where you are. You got to speak up, sis. You got to speak up. And then the last one was the secret of addictions or compulsive behaviors that you might be engaging in. And so, whether it be substance use, alcohol use, gambling, porn addictions, spending, working, any addiction that you could possibly think of. Like if you're doing it excessively and it's interfering with your life to where it becomes like the major focal point, you eat, sleep, drink, you live it, your life is planned around it, then you want to check that, because then that becomes the focus. You develop an intimate relationship with your addiction instead of developing an intimate relationship with your partner. So we got to check that, y'all. We got to check that. All right. Any questions? Any comments? Anybody want to come forward? I'm trying something new tonight. So if you want to come forward, I can't tell you to raise your hand, but all right, I don't see nobody wanting to come forward. Well, all right, good peoples. And I could be missing something that I need to be seeing, but I don't think I see anything. All right, y'all. So if nobody wants to come forward in the Blam It is our group coaching community, blamcore.com. You can go there and get on the wait list, but it's a dope community of individuals and couples that come together, weekly to do their work. And it's been extremely helpful for folks to heal within themselves, but also their relationship. And so if you're interested, go to blamcore.com, BLAM. Let me put it in the comment. Blamcore.com. Go to blamcore.com to get more information. And the other piece that I want to lift up is that if you're a man, all right, I'm seeing some comments come through. If you're a man and you're looking to build with other men, then I would encourage you to check out kingmeretreat.com. kingmeretreat.com. It's going to be April 24th through the 27th, 2026. We go into the mountains of Tennessee, and I want you to join us. You can go there and get your spots, early bird pricing right now, but coming together with a group of brothers who are about building and going to the next level individually, but also in their relationships like that. This joint right here is going to be on point. And so, I want you to consider it, especially if you are somebody who understands the value of doing your personal work. And real talk, even if you don't understand the value, but you want to put yourself in a position where you could be around other growth-minded men that's going to challenge you, men that's also going to challenge you, but also support you and encourage you, then this is the space that you want to be in. So go to kingmeretreat.com to get more information. On IG, you can find it. If you type the word king, on this video right here in IG, you'll be able to get some more information about that. So, all right, good people. So I'm gonna put a pin in it right here. It's been real. It's been good. Thank y'all for coming out tonight and for tuning in. How to heal if the family has come between your marriage with lies? Oh, I see the question. So it's a good question, and I appreciate the question. What we often say is that we got to prioritize us first. And there's a number of people who got their in-laws all up in the mix, misrepresenting, lying, being deceptive, and adding fuel to the fire. And so if this is you, there should be an agreement between you and your partner that we're going to handle this thing together. You know, what I often say is that if it's your parents, you talk to them. Or if it's your family members, you talk to them. If it's mine, I'll talk to them. But we have to be in agreement that we have a responsibility to place us first. It's us against them. And so if they're coming between us, it'll be easier for them to break us if we're not showing a united front. And so the way that you heal is by doing self-work first. You got to focus on you, and you got to focus on y'all. When y'all get good, then it'll be easier for you all to navigate that space with everybody else. And there's a quote, and I believe it's an African proverb: if you conquer the enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. And so that's for you individually, but that's also for y'all collectively. If you conquer the enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. So focus on y'all. Focus on strengthening that base. Come to some agreements, establish some boundaries, identify what will be shared and what won't be shared. Now, here's a caveat that I want to lift up. Sometimes people try to weaponize this, y'all. And so, bro or sis, whoever is lifting this piece up, or whoever is in this situation, don't weaponize this, because sometimes people utilize this to isolate, which then can become an abusive piece in and of itself. So you try to say it's us against them, and then you move towards, you push for seclusion, you push for isolation, and really what you're trying to do is to maintain a certain level of control over your partner. If that's not you, then it doesn't apply. But if it is you, then you got to do your work to grapple with that. You know, I mean, she should be entitled to have a relationship with the ones that she loves. He should be entitled to have a relationship with the ones that he loves. I'm not saying that they can't be in a relationship. And again, if you're the one who is requesting that it be us against the world, am I requesting that from a healthy place? Or am I requesting that from a controlling place? Only you can answer that. And if you're requesting it from a controlling place, then you got more work to do. But if it's from a healthy place and you understand the value of the relationship between the two of you, but also the relationships that she may have with other people, then there's a way to work it out. There's a way to work it out. Any other questions before I go? I don't see any other questions. All right, good people. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it. This has been good. Y'all be easy. Until next time, y'all take care, and I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace out. Oh, I'm sorry. I got some other question. I said this is a new platform, so I can't go quite yet. My bad. I got some other questions. All right. What if nothing is said to the parent? If nothing is said to the parent, then that's a conversation that you got to have with that person. You got to have a conversation with your partner and ask why. Try to understand what the barriers may be, the issues, the insecurities, the uncertainties, the hesitancies in terms of why they're not proceeding to engage in a conversation that you requested that they have. Now, a lot of times it has to do with the matter or the means in which you ask that question. But yeah, if it's still a problem and if it still needs to be done, if you would like for it to be done, then that's when you lean back on your partner. And yes, I see childhood childhood trauma can be triggers too. Absolutely. Absolutely. How to work on being as one if only one wants to work on it and not both. The reason is because one tried before and now feel it won't work. That gets into what I lifted up before about when he's done, or when she's done, rather, she's done. And so one of the mottos that we have is that relationship work is personal work. And so, you got to do your personal work, bro. You got to do your personal work, sis. And if we're preoccupied with lane watching and focusing on what they are or are not doing, then what happens is that we become so overly consumed with their efforts, their output, that we stop doing the things that we need to do. And so I be hearing people say, like, I want it, but they don't want it, but there's no evidence on your part that you actually want it. And coming to a live stream like once a week don't mean that you want it. What are you doing on a daily? What are you doing on the daily? And if your spouse has been wanting it forever, and you've been resisting, and now you're in a place where you start to recognize and see that there's been a shift that's taken place, and they've detached and they've disconnected, and now you want it, then you should be operating with a certain level of empathy and understanding. Because you were once there. And now you are where they are. And now they're like, back up, bro. Back up, sis. And so what I'm saying to you is that you got to put them hours in. You got to get them reps in. You got to do your push-ups. If you want it, how bad do you really want it? And then the truth of the matter is this: you can want it as bad as you want it, and you can do the work that you need to do, and you can still not get it. But the thing that you will get is personal growth. That's what you'll get. The reward is your own personal growth. The reward is an elevated understanding of self. The reward is a better connection with you. So that's why we always say relationship work is personal work. Got to do your work, bro. Got to do your work, sis. Got to, even if they're not doing theirs. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. I don't see any other questions coming up. Yes, Yvonne, consistency. Like, people be thinking that you can do it. You can do it for a month. You could do it for 3 months. But nah, that ain't the case. It takes time, especially if you're dealing with somebody in a relationship for decades and they've been acting like an ass for 15 years. And now they want to show up for 3 months and say, where you at? Where you at? Like, why you not putting in the work no more? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Come on now. The work don't even match. She been putting in work for 20 years. You've been putting in work for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. And you frustrated because she not necessarily racing towards you to try to connect or to be intimate or to have extensive conversations or to prioritize you. You see the imbalance? And it's not going to be fair. It's not going to be 50-50, but there is a process. There is a process. And it could be flipped. He could have been chasing, engaging, and wanting to be connected and putting in the work for 15, 20 years. And now you are like, you reached a place where you realize the value of him and of the relationship. And so you make the shift or make the decision that I want to lean in. And so you've been leaning in for like 3 days or 3 months or 3 years. And you think that he's supposed to be, bringing you roses every night and running your bath water and giving you massages daily. And he ain't doing that. He was doing it for 20 years and you weren't receptive. Well, if you were receptive, there was no reciprocity. And so there's an impact, and you got to sit in the seat of the impact of your actions. You got to be accountable. And a part of that accountability is, number one, owning that you can't control the outcome overnight. You can't make it. You can't walk over there and flip the switch and then he or she be on. It doesn't work like that, y'all. It takes time. And it takes intentional effort consistently if you want to experience a shift. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. I'm connecting with y'all next time. Take care, y'all. Peace out.